Biblically Centered Kids.
Well, hello and happy Friday to everyone out there. Today is November 8th, 2024, and I'm your host for today's episode, Mr. Johnny. Who's super pumped for the weekend? Me! I know I am. All right, do we have any kiddos out there named Ashley listening? Well, guess what? Today is all about you. That's right, you. Are you a little confused? Well, did you know that today, November 8th, is actually National Ashley Day? That's right. National Ashley Day is celebrated on November 8th every year. The name is derived from the Old English Eisk. I don't think I'm saying that right. Eisk, which means ash, and ley, which means forest glade. So they put that together and kind of got this Ashley. So it basically references a meadow where ash trees grow. And soon it became an English family name. And Ashley has been used to name both boys and girls all across history. The first half of the 20th century saw Ashley being used commonly to name boys. But by the mid-1990s, Ashley had become a common girl's name. So happy Ashley Day to all the Ashleys out there. Today is also National Parents as Teachers Day. Look, whether the parents out there, whether you full-on homeschool or you just help answer your kids' questions as they continue to learn in the home, we know that all parents play a vital role in the education and development of their children. And we know personally that it can be a lot of work. Yes, kids, sometimes y'all can be a lot of work. But be sure today to tell your parents thank you for helping you on your education journey. All right. Let's move on to our quiz. What do you guys say? Are you guys ready for a Quiz Day Friday? Yeah! I'm going to be asking a series of multiple choice questions. Some easy, some a little difficult, but all require us to listen well. Are you ready to listen and answer? All right, let's turn those ears on. Get those thinking caps on. Because I'm not going easy on you this time. Huh? All right, just kidding. It shouldn't be that hard. All right, let's jump in. All right, question 1. This week we've been talking all about virtue S. What does the S in our virtue stand for? Is it A, serve, B, supply, or C, spirit? Is it A, serve, B, supply, or C, spirit? That's right. The answer is A, serve. Virtue S says, we seize opportunities to serve others, putting their needs above our own. Great job, everybody. All right, question 2. In Matthew 20:26 through 28, Jesus teaches, whoever wants to become great among you must what? A, be your friend, B, be your leader, or C, be your servant. So whoever wants to become great among you must what? Be your friend, be your leader, or be your servant. That's right. The correct answer for this question is C, be your servant. In Matthew 20:26 through 28, Jesus teaches, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first must be your slave, just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many. Jesus is telling us that real greatness doesn't come from being the boss or having everyone do nice things for you or however you can conceive that. Instead, true greatness comes from being a servant, just like Jesus. Question 3. In our Old Testament story this week, who did Ruth choose to care for instead of going back to her old life? Was it A, Boaz, B, Naomi, or C, King David? So who did Ruth choose to care for? Was it A, Boaz, B, Naomi, or C, King David? That's right. The answer is B, Naomi. And Ruth's story shows us what it really means to serve others. She could have gone back to her old life and taken care of herself, but instead she chose to stay with Naomi and care for her, even when it was hard. Ruth didn't just serve with her hands by gathering grain, but she also served with her heart. You hear that? That's her heart. Showing love and loyalty to Naomi every step of the way. This is a great example of what Jesus talked about when he said, "For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve others and to give his life as a ransom for many." That's in Mark 10:45. Just as Ruth showed love through her actions, Jesus also showed us the ultimate act of love by giving his life for us. Question 4. In our New Testament story this week, we learned about the great faith of the friends who brought their paralyzed friend to Jesus to be healed. When they arrived, it was so crowded. So how did they get their friend in front of Jesus? Was it A, they crowd surfed him to the front of the group? If you don't know what crowd surfing is, ask your parents. Was it B, they pretended they were making a food delivery and the crowd let them through? Or was it C, they dug a hole in the roof and lowered him in front of Jesus? Yeah, this one was easy, right? It's C, they dug a hole in the roof and lowered him in front of Jesus. You know, instead of giving up, they came up with a plan. They climbed up to the roof of the house carefully and they made an opening in the roof and lowered their friend on his mat right in front of Jesus. They didn't let the crowd stop them because they were determined to serve their friend and get him the help he needed. All right, you guys have been doing such a good job. Let's move on to the last question, question 5. When Jesus saw what the friends had done, he was amazed by their faith. What did Jesus say to the paralyzed man next? A, your sins are forgiven. B, get up and walk. C, why did you just interrupt my sermon? Do you remember? 2 of these answers are technically correct, but what did he say first? That's right, he said A, your sins are forgiven. When Jesus saw what the friends had done, he was amazed by their faith and their willingness to serve. He looked at the paralyzed man and said, "Son, your sins are forgiven." But there were some religious leaders that were sitting around nearby and they were shocked. They didn't believe Jesus had the power to forgive sin. They started questioning Jesus in their hearts, and Jesus knew what they were thinking. He said to them, "Which is easier to say to this paralyzed man, 'Your sins are forgiven,' or to say, 'Get up and take your mat and walk'?" To show them that he had the power to forgive sins, Jesus turned to the paralyzed man and said, "I tell you, get up, take your mat, and go home." And that's exactly what happened. The man stood up, picked up his mat, and walked out in front of everyone. The people were amazed. They praised God, saying, "We have never seen anything like this." All right, well, that's all for the quiz today. How'd you guys do? I hope you had some fun with it on this lovely Friday. And of course, all of us here at Biblically Centered are wishing you a fantastic weekend ahead. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode so far. And remember to catch us here on the Biblically Centered Kids podcast every single day. Join us tomorrow for a fun game day episode with Miss Danika, and I'll be back on Sunday for a fun draw along. Until next time.